Freedom Fighters, Inc. hosted a silent remembrance session today with plans to continue the project across the coming weeks. According to the owner of Freedom Fighters, Inc., Alicia Seabolt, the sessions let the participants show a picture of a family member or friend that was lost to addiction. Seabolt said the goal of this project is to show how the Parkersburg community has been impacted by drug addiction. Seabolt adds that even though it shows the memory of friends or family lost to addiction, the project can also shed light to those in recovery or looking for recovery.
Most of the people that Freedom Fighters, Inc. affiliates with is either in recovery or trying to find recovery. So it also sheds light to other people that may not necessarily be in recovery that, hey, there's this community of people that's in recovery and we can, shed this experience, strength, and hope too. So I feel like it's definitely in memory of, like, concept, but it's also, to shed light that recovery is possible.
Seabolt adds that if there isn't much of a turnout at the next event, Freedom Fighters, Inc. will continue to expand, utilizing different times for hosting the sessions.